Hi everyone, Morten Ostad here with another video, and in this video I am jumping on a thread celebrating Chris from Rekkid Talks 5 years in the vinyl community in one of his 5 records in 5 minutes, so I am attempting to do that. Luckily I just watched Peter's video on Music is a Journey, or else I would have done the exact same video as him. No, I am joking. Number 1, show a record from when you were 5 years old. So we go all the way down to New Zealand and the wonderful Split Ends with Second Thoughts. Yes, Split Ends, one of my absolute favorite bands in the world. Members are, of course, Tim Finn and later on, not on this record, Neil Finn from Crowded House. And you could argue, is this their second album or is it something else? I've tried to do so in a previous video and I did not really succeed. It was released in New Zealand, Australia and the UK in 1976 and in North America in 1977. Number 2, show a record which is 5 years old. So we're going to 2021 and for some female artists here with Slater Kinney from Oregon. Wonderful Slater Kinney's third album after Reunion, if I remember correctly, and one that I really should have listened to a lot more probably, but there you are, the wonderful Slater Kinney. Number 3, well, show a 5-inch record, and as he says correctly, most of you don't have that, so show a record that is was something 5 times 5 delt på 2 equals, so ends up being 25. Show a record that was released when you were 25, which was in my case in 1996. And I'm going to go with a 5-inch record, like I said, a CD. And this is electronic ambient music, something I don't show that often, but I do have a bit of. Inspired by my good friend Donovan down in South Africa, who I befriended at film college in Denmark. The Future Sound of London, Dead Cities, came out in 1996. And I have fond memories of listening to this with my friend and, you know, getting it a while later in 1996. And next up we have a show and the 5th album of a band, and going a bit back and forth about what to show, but I ended up with something Norwegian, and this is Rekkid with the Inevitable End. Yes, I have shown this before, but yeah, I wanted to get this video done and not sit in front of my record collection thinking, oh, what am I going to do? So yeah, The Inevitable End was supposed to be their last album. They said, this is our final album. We are not stopping making music, but we think the album format, etc. is gone. And then a couple of years after, they released the Lost Tracks, cassette tape kind of type music, and then a year after that they released 3 albums in a row and packaged it in a one after you bought all the 3 and all that, and now they released even more. So here you go, this is Rekkid, The Inevitable, and wonderful electronic music from Norway, music that makes me, think, wow, sometimes we Norwegians, we can be pretty cool. And finally, show a record that costs $5, and he said yes, you can change that into whatever currency you have, and in my case this record was bought here in Norway in a second-hand record shop, and $5 is currently roughly 50 kroner, so you just remove the 0 at the end. There's even a price tag on this. So this is Book Early by City Boy, a band that I'm always been very fond of ever since I heard and got when I was a little kid, The Day the Earth Caught Fire, I think it was, yes. So sort of a semi-proggish band from the UK that maybe should have released their first albums in the early 70s and not in sort of the middle of the punk revolution. But as you can see, 50 kroner, which is equivalent to $5. Congratulations with your 5 years in the vinyl community and making videos, Chris. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope to see you guys soon in another video. Take care. Bye bye. Bye bye.